What if the fate of the Lakers' next chapter hinges not on star power or flashy trades, but on a single gamble whisper of a move that could either cement a dynasty or unravel the very fabric of this storied franchise? What if this season, more than ever, is a crossroads where every choice, every dollar, and every heartbeat pushes the purple and gold closer to redemption or disaster? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truth meets purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of this drama. Listen, Lakers Nation, we all know the headlines were dominated by blockbuster trades and superstar signings. But beneath the surface of the 2025 NBA Draft flickered a quiet storm that could shift everything. The Lakers, in a move that stunned the league and sent ripples across the front offices, aggressively traded up nearly 20 spots in the second round to snag the 36th overall pick, a relatively unknown forward from Arkansas named Adudie Viro. Now, to casual eyes, a second-round pick, especially one stolen this deep, might seem like a consolation prize, a footnote in a summer otherwise loud with hype. But this was a calculated strike, a chess move from Rob Pelinka's playbook that dares you to look closer, to question everything you thought you knew about how this roster will come together. Here's the kicker: the hero wasn't some overlooked role player barely hanging on. Lakers scouts had him graded as a first-round talent, a player deemed good enough to go much earlier, but somehow slipped through the cracks until now. And the man throwing the biggest spotlight on this kid? None other than John Calipari, the legendary coach who molded the hero at Arkansas, who didn't just praise him. He declared the hero among the most athletic players in the country, elite in the top 1%, a physical force ready to thrive in the brutally physical NBA. Before anyone even blinked, Calipari was shouting from the rooftops, "I wouldn't pass" on him in this draft. When someone who's coached countless NBA minds weighs in like that, you don't just take notes, you see stars. But why did the Lakers risk so much a move that thrust them into the harsh reality of the second apron luxury tax, limiting their financial wiggle room and threatening future flexibility with this pick? Last season exposed glaring flaws in their defense, especially down low and around the rim. The Timberwolves exploited LA's inability to guard consistently, and with LeBron aging and the dominant presence of Anthony Davis sidelined by injuries and inconsistency, the Lakers cried out for fresh legs, for defense, for toughness. That's exactly what the hero offers: a wing with size, length, and defensive intensity. The kind of player who can guard multiple positions, fight through screens, and rebound without ever asking for the ball. His game isn't about flash or highlight reels. It's about doing the dirty work that wins games. Here's where the stakes skyrocket. The hero isn't being drafted to grow on the bench for 3 or 4 years. The Lakers need him now. Within 2 seasons, possibly even sooner, this kid must be contributing on both ends, filling those defensive gaps and adding energy to a rotation that desperately needs it. That is a colossal ask for a second-round pick, but this is no ordinary rookie. Calipari's glowing endorsement calling him a good kid with an unmatched work ethic and coachable mind means Pelinka made this move with conviction. This is a man who sees beyond stats and box scores, someone willing to risk luxury tax penalties because he believes the hero isn't just a role player but a key piece in the Lakers' rebuilding puzzle. And yet, what shakes deeper than the draft? Day drama is that by making this move, the Lakers have panned themselves into a financial corner, limiting their ability to sign that elusive free agent center many see as essential to fixing their defensive nightmares. The luxury tax second apron isn't just a number. It's a chain around the franchise's neck, stripping away mid-level exceptions, blocking trade exceptions, and making every future transaction a tactical nightmare. And then comes the seismic question: will LeBron James, the franchise's eternal heartbeat, shift gears for the sake of the team? The hope whispered among fans and analysts was that the 40-year-old legend might take a pay cut, just a fraction of his $53 million player option, to grant the Lakers some breathing room, to build around him a roster capable of delivering one, Last title run? But reports are now crystal clear LeBron is not budging. He's opting in fully no discount, no restructuring, no favors, getting every dollar he's earned through decades of blood, sweat, and an unmatched legacy. And look, can we blame him? Nearly 2 decades into an unparalleled career, still, outscoring and outplaying players half his age, LeBron demands what he's worth. He's not just a superstar. He's a living legend who commands respect on and off the court. Yet, with him taking the full $53 million and the Lakers locked into that punitive second apron, cap space evaporates, trade flexibility vanishes, and the luxury tax bill swells to suffocating levels. Suddenly, every move the front office makes feels more like defusing a bomb than building a championship roster. Fans once united, now fracture, debating whether blame lies on GM Rob Pelinka for the draft night gamble that pushed the team further into financial lockdown, or on LeBron himself for not easing the burden of a front office scrambling to piece together a contender. But money and loyalty aside, the Lakers still have to fix their front court crisis. No sugarcoating that. The whispers growing louder in the shadows of the Staples Center point to one name, Daniel Gafford. He's not a household name, nor the kind of star whose arrival triggers spontaneous celebrations across the city. But he embodies exactly what the Lakers need: physical presence, defensive solidity, and perhaps most notably, chemistry with their young superstar guard, Luka Doncic. Remember, Gafford and Luka were linchpins for the Mavericks during the 2023-24 playoffs, sharing on-court magic that saw Gafford average nearly 2 blocks per game and finish in sync with over 49% of his playoff baskets assisted by Luka. That's elite synergy, the kind that can't be taught, only found. Yet, to snag Gafford, the Lakers face a staggering price tag. The Mavericks locked him up on a 3-year, $54 million deal just post-finals, not untouchable, but not cheap either. Any trade talks will demand significant assets, young talents like Dalton Connect, Adu Deiro, or Jalen Hudino, combined with future draft picks and salary fillers, to woo Dallas out of protecting a player intimately tied to their franchise identity. The emotional scars from the Luka trade still sting in Dallas, making the prospect of deal negotiations anything but friendly. But in the relentless business of the NBA, cash and value trump sentiment, and if the Lakers come with the right offer, the Mavericks will listen. Still, at what cost? Is giving up potential for a role-playing center worth the gamble? Will Lakers fans embrace moving pieces they've cheered for, or balk at paying such a steep toll? And let's not forget the alternatives. Players like Bismack Biyombo, Nick Richards, or Yves Missi offer cheaper, safer options but lack the intangible spark, the proven chemistry with Luka that Gafford so effortlessly provides. Pelinka's phone is already on speed dial to Dallas GM Nico Harrison, the chess match underway. Every call charged with the weight of Lakers' hopes and fears. This offseason is more than a carousel of trades and picks. It's a crucible testing loyalties, legacies, and the very character of Lakers basketball. Every dollar counts. Every draft pick has a destiny, and every decision a ripple toward triumph or tragedy. Can Adu Deiro emerge from the shadows and justify the bold gamble? Will LeBron's contractual steadfastness become a rallying cry or a chain around the franchise? Will Daniel Gafford's silent strength finally find its way into the purple and gold fold, or will the Lakers settle for less? As a lifelong Lakers fan, I can't help but feel the tension tighten around us like never before. The echoes of past glory haunt these choices, the ghost of every missed shot, every lost ring whispering warnings. So is this the start of a new empire, or the beginning of our unraveling? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading every one. Listen up, Lakers Nation. If you think the chaos stops here, you're dead wrong, because this moment isn't just a tipping point. It's a full-on explosion waiting to reshape everything we thought was sacred about this franchise. You see, with every dollar shoved into LeBron's mammoth contract, with every second-round pick gambled like it was a first-round ace, It's not just about wins and losses anymore. It's about legacy, identity, and how far the purple and gold are willing to stretch before snapping under the weight of expectation. Imagine that LeBron, the king whose legend is carved into the firmament of basketball history, clutching tight to every penny because that money isn't just currency. It's respect earned over 20 years of carrying teams on his back, delivering rings and redefining what greatness looks like. But right beside that glory lies a glaring problem. Anthony Davis, the so-called cornerstone, whose body has betrayed him season after season, makes every game feel like a gamble. If a D isn't durable, if he can't rediscover that all-NBA dominance, then the Lakers' palace leaks water faster than they can patch it. It's like watching a masterpiece slowly dissolve in front of your eyes, a dynamic duo meant to bring another era of Showtime. But instead, we're left holding tickets to a show that might never start. And just when you think the drama can't, twist tighter, enter the young blood Bronny, Donovan, Reeves, all carrying torchlight hope, but also heavy shadows. Bronny's rise is under a microscope so brutal it could crack glass, and you know that every rookie mistake, every chance he takes, is weighed not just in points, but in the burden of being LeBron's kid. The fans want magic, a new dawn bud. How do you balance patience with a hunger so ravenous that losing feels like betrayal? Reeves has become the heart and soul of gritty determination, a fan favorite who's the embodiment of blue-collar hustle. But can that heart alone bridge the chasm left by aging stars and fragile big men? And then there's the front office. Oh, the front office. Jeannie Buss, the steadfast steward of this legacy-drenched ship, faces a storm bigger than anything we've seen in decades. What if that billionaire investor rumored to be circling swoops in not just with a checkbook, but with seismic intentions to rewrite the Lakers' blueprint? The idea that Lakers ownership might shift from family hands to corporate behemoths ignites a firestorm of emotion will that mean the end of Jeannie's soft touch, the soul of the franchise passed down from Jerry West and Dr. Buss, or will it bring the deep pockets necessary to counter the toxicity of the luxury tax and finally wrest this team away from mediocrity? Remember the 1980s Showtime Lakers, a franchise built on dazzling offense, billion-watt charisma led by Magic Johnson, a man who played the game like a symphony conductor. Those teams were fearless, unapologetic, masters of their own fate. Fast forward to the 2000s, and the three-peat under Kobe and Shaq was forged in fire and fury, a testament to toxic toughness and legacy revenge. Then with the 2010 championship, it was about vindication, shutting down doubters, silencing the Harden and Rose-era West with sheer will. The 2020 bubble banner, won in a surreal isolation from the world, was both a triumph and a tribute to a changed NBA. But this fragile post-title decline? This could be the fall from grace or the rebirth that defines the next generation of purple and gold warriors. History tells us that every empire has cracks. What if these cracks are deeper? Fractures not just in the roster, but in the very heart of Lakers culture? And beyond the Staples Center, the West looms like a raging beast ready to devour any sign of weakness. The Warriors, still clutching their blue-chip superstars, ready to exploit every misstep with their championship DNA. Denver's nimble youth and relentless defense shadow every play. Phoenix's rising star power gleams like a sword hovering over the Lakers' throat. And the Clippers, hungry for redemption, itching to take their place atop the West. With every dollar spent, every promise made, the Lakers are rolling dice on whether this roster can survive, evolve, and strike back. But what if it's not just about competing with these teams? What if the world watches this saga not just as a battle for championships, but as a battleground for the soul of basketball itself, purple and gold standing against the tidal forces of modern NBA reality, money, and corporate power? Picture this, a summer night outside the Crypto.com arena, the fans chanting defense, defense, because the Euro is in the game, and suddenly, every stop feels like a prophecy fulfilled. But now imagine that same scene shadowed by the silence after an injury. or the rage after a loss born from a roster stretched too thin and burdened too much. Thyro's dirty work defense, a beacon of hope for this team, might be the difference between a season lost in the noise and a resurgence fueled by sweat and grit. But what if the arrow isn't ready? What if the weight of expectation crushes him like so many before? You feel it in your bones, the tension, the hope, the rage all crashing into one another in real time. And don't overlook the human element. The hero is a kid with everything to prove, a last shot at making history on a stage that will eat you alive if you blink. His journey from obscurity to the Lakers spotlight is a story we long to see come true, a new chapter to rekindle the Showtime spirit where heart and hustle still matter. But it's also a reminder, every underdog, every late draft steal is a gamble, a roll of the dice that could save a dynasty or accelerate its decay. So here we stand, on the precipice of legacy and ruin, with the weight of LeBron's legacy pressing down harder than ever, not just because of salary, but because his decisions now define the endgame. If LeBron sinks into stubbornness, clinging to the full paycheck as a statement of self-worth after all he's given us, are we looking at a last hurrah or a shackle? Anthony Davis carries more than just defensive duties. He carries our patience, our dreams. If he can't step up, can the pieces around him truly fill the void? And if Bronny or Doncic flame out under the blinding glare of Lakers' expectations, does that signal the fading of an era or the painful birth of a new one? The fragile ecosystem within the Lakers' locker room and the front office is teetering on a knife's edge. Pelinka's chess game with Dallas for Gafford is perhaps the boldest piece here, forcing sacrifice, courting risk, betting that chemistry and toughness will topple cost and pride. But what if that move fractures the future more than it builds it? What if the trade becomes a story of lost potential and regret? The principles of championship Lakers team first, star power, and relentless defense are being tested like never before. It's as if the ghost of Magic Kobe and Kobe's relentless will stare down the present, demanding the team find a way to honor the past or watch their legacy unravel. The truth is, we're not just witnessing basketball. We're living a saga of hope and heartbreak, of empire and exile. Every buzzer beater, every picket shoulder, every whispered rumor from Rob Pelinka's war room echoes through us. So I ask you this, as the curtain rises on this chapter, are we ready to embrace the chaos with open arms, or are we bracing for the fall? As a Laker till the day I die, here's what I see coming. The greatest story isn't just the games won or lost. It's the heart of this franchise fighting tooth and nail between the ghosts of its past and the shadows of an uncertain future. Now I want to hear it from you. Drop your rawest take below. Every true believer in purple and gold, because this is our truth, our fight, our destiny.